Hey.
So what can you tell me about your relationship with Richard Remington?
I didn't have one. I think I spoke to him twice, ever. He usually seemed really busy, but more like preoccupied.
Preoccupied? Like he was thinking about something else? Something that wasn't this tourist attraction?
Who can say? What do old men think about?
What? Are you implying that I know the answer to that?
Yeah, I have a pretty good view of him from here. Anyone supporting animal rights is okay in my book. His protests used to have a bit more energy, though. He spends more time inside his tent these days.
What's he doing in there?
I'm happy to say, I don't know.
There might be something I can ask Echo about. Echo has recently acquired Echo's poncho and more time in his tent. I'm losing my mind here.
Where I find this gem, I was a big fan of this. Like, there's a bunch of these Flash games on Newgrounds, and I played a lot of them, and a bunch of the Newgrounds community came together and helped make this game. It was really interesting. I thought it was really cool.
Echo spends more time holding Echo's poncho and more time in his tent. No.
Yeah, grab Chris first. I'm gonna play this for a little longer, and then I'll, I'm pretty close to the end of the game, actually. So I might finish it before you get here. Never spoken to Echo.
Sally Spears has never spoken to Echo and more time in his tent. I'm losing my mind. There's something people have noticed about Echo. Echo has recently acquired the protest sign and more time in his tent. Echo spends more time holding Echo's poncho and more time in his tent. Oh, that... Echo has never spoken to Sally Spears because he's so terrified. Oh, that... What's Echo been doing recently? Echo spends more time holding the protest sign and less time in his tent. What is that supposed to mean? Echo spends more time holding the protest sign and more time in his tent. Echo spends less time holding the protest sign and more time in his tent. I wonder if Echo can tell me what he's been doing that's more important than his protest.
Where are you keeping... Is that one of your clues? I have no idea. Where are you... Never mind, but... Now...
black leggings you found in your bag this morning. They're covered in the same slime that was on the murder weapon.
Everything in this swamp is covered in slime. What's your angle, Grimoire?
The slime hasn't been found anywhere else. Your black wings were part of the murder costume. I have proof you were wearing them during the murder.
This exact slime has...
Everything.
Your black leggings were part of the murderer's costume.
Costume? Is that why someone took them out of my bag last night?
Well, you know, I don't have proof someone else took them.
If I had been wearing them when I committed a crime, do you think I would hand them over to a detective the second he shows up? Besides, look at them. What do you notice?
They're loose and stretched.
They're loose and stretched.
That's right, someone else. Someone larger than me has worn these. They're stretched out, especially at the waist. It's pretty obvious.
So, let's see. Somebody stole them to use in their boggy costume, and then put them back in your bag when they were done?
If you say so. It's not my job to know all the details. It's my job to sell souvenirs. Do you want a souvenir?
Oh, my, yes, but only if you choose one for me.
You look like you could use something to wind up. You can take this one.
A small plastic toy has Buggy's feet is hidden in the bucket of water. Question mark, question mark, question mark.
You again. Ready with some cryptic advice, no doubt?
Don't let them take him.
Who? The murderer? That's my job. I gotta make sure that
No, the creature. Don't take him away. This place is his home.
Oh, Boggy. Hey, don't worry. I didn't really believe he could be, responsible for this mess.
You didn't?
Well, no.
Mainly because I didn't know you, because you could. I've always known who the murderer was, and it's not Boggy. I don't believe he could have hurt anyone.
I've always known who the murderer was, and it's not Boggy.
So, he won't get in trouble? He won't have to leave?
Well, he's been out here for what, 60 years, hasn't he? And stayed out of trouble for that long. I have a feeling some detective isn't going to change all that in one day.
Well, in that case, he says... Thank you.
There's a hollow part of the tree, right at the front, but it's too dark to see inside. It's the base of it. Was this entire place... Note to self.
Oh? No thanks, my friend. I'm afraid...
I heard you've been spending less time protesting recently and more time, in your tent. Normally I wouldn't pry, but it's my job to ask...
Untouched people have even noticed something like that. I usually get the impression everyone else is doing their best to ignore me.
So, you admit it's true?
You can put your notebook away. There isn't really any reason for it. Nothing worth writing down, at least.
Well, if it's not worth writing down, maybe it's worth hearing.
In that case, you'd forget it.
How do you know? Maybe it would echo in my mind.
Look, if you take a guess and get it right, I promise not to deny it.
Let's work out why Echo was hidden away in his tent. Notebook time. You've been in your tent because it's been raining!
Why not?
I think it's time I went to talk to Officer James.
Oh? Mm-hmm. I'm sorry I haven't...
You won't be getting very... If you want an autograph...
That music, which is it being held up on wooden supports? It's bizarre. I don't think so. This side. There's a little door in the wall here. There's less. That museum is quite a. Which makes it. Is it?
If you bring me something...
Were stolen, so larger wore them out.
Oh?
Everybody saw the reasons for his schedule. Broken into. Cross!
Apparently, I'm not. There's a hollow part of the tree, right at.
What am I supposed to do if it's too dark?
It's an old statue.
Ah, you finally returned. Well, did you find the swamp creature? Where is he?
I didn't find him.
What? You're not getting paid to wander about aimlessly, Grimoire. Get back out there.
I don't need to.
Final chapter.
Why not? I thought he was our prime suspect.
Well, not anymore.
Didn't you find photographic evidence of Buggy from last night? Let me see that photo. If that's not Buggy, what is it?
I found designs for the costume in a trash can. Not only that, I collected all the pieces of the costume myself. Well, nearly all of them. There's still the one that...
But the footprints at the scene of the crime! How can you prove these don't belong to a real creature? What's this? I thought there were no records of a footprint anywhere.
No public records. The footprints at the crime scene don't match the ones on this page. They were just a product of these slippers. A part of the costume.
But Grimoire, this costume, it doesn't have claws of any kind. How do you explain the 3 wounds on the victim's chest?
The prongs match up with the wounds perfectly. The handle's even covered in slime, see?
Ah, but this swamp slime was one of the reasons Buggy became a suspect in the first place. Surely this only incriminates the creature further.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But that slime, it's not exactly what you think. This stuff has an uncanny resemblance to the so-called swamp slime. A bunch of it was stolen from the storeroom of the cafe, which reminds me.
What is that, exactly?
A poisoned hot dog. It's the second reason that the murderer broke into the storeroom. He put this green powder on the entire supply, just to make sure.
To make sure of what?
To make sure everyone in the swamp would be poisoned, to make sure no one would eat at the cafe ever again, to make sure Remington got ill.
To make sure Remington got ill and had to return to his office.
Remington went back to his office? Alone?
Final chapter. The murder.
I've been looking through your evidence, Grimoire. One piece in particular seems critical to me. I think we need to work
The
out.
video footage? Vincent Vanderpeer filmed it last night, at the exact moment of the murder, I believe.
Well, exactly. I think we can both agree these sounds in the background. They're essential in our mystery. Could you talk me through them? Just rearrange the descriptions on the left to match the sounds on the right. Drag them around and keep swapping until you're happy with the order. And if you want to hear the sounds again, you can tap on them.
No problem. I can always check my case file if I want to go over my notes.
Hey Josh, thanks for the host. I'm almost done with the game actually. I think I am. Oh. Open a door. Remington cries out in shock and falls backwards.
I think that's it.
Ah, excellent. There's just two small details bothering me. First of all, if Remington ripped off a piece of his curtains, why wasn't it found at the crime scene? What happened to it?
Turns out the murderer took that piece of fabric and concealed it inside the head of the costume. Then he fled the crime scene to hide all the parts in different areas of the swamp.
Ah, well, that's my problem. If Remington fired his rifle, how did the assailant survive and manage to escape? Did Remington miss his target?
At point blank? A man of his experience? I don't think so. In fact, the answer to that question is the very last link in our chain.
Oh
the
no.
one thing that has eluded me so far. I'll drag the clue items from the left onto my drawing here, and we'll see what happens when we compare the pieces I collected.
Did it come out weird? I think you can control the quality of like
with the original
of the video that you
design I
download.
found.
Yeah, the chess piece was missing.
Wait, you never found the body piece, the torso.
Yeah.
You're right, and I never would have found it. Not lying around. Not like the others.
But what does this have to do with the murderer surviving the rifle shot?
This torso is probably made up of some thick material, something covering the culprit's entire upper body. I believe it may have even been enough to
To
soften...
soften the impact from a bullet. Aha!
Exactly.
Well, let's put your theory to the test. Where is that last piece of the costume? How? We looked everywhere. Not a single clue.
Simple. He's still wearing it.
That's good that you didn't drop frames though, even if you dropped quality. Oh, I'm so fucking good.
With me. Sounds like you two were smart enough to uncover the real criminal in this swamp. And
I'm
lucky
so
enough
fucking
to
good
have
at this game.
Somebody else deal with him for you. You worked it out. He had his rifle on him. He got half a glance at me and pulled the trigger without hesitation.
But why would he do that? You were dressed as Buggy. He shouldn't be pointing his gun at a unique scientific specimen, not to mention his main attraction.
You're right. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense, does it? Not unless you're in on the secret.
Leads me to the hunting photo. Leads me to the.
The hunting photo leads me to believe Echo was Boggy in disguise. I don't get it. A secret that Remington kept hidden in his office. The hunting photo was framed because Echo was here to hunt Boggy. I don't get it. Seriously. The hunting photo leads me to believe Richard Remington was here to hunt Boggy. A secret society, an order of hunters, seeking out mysterious and elusive creatures.
The order goes further than this one man, and much further than this one swamp.
The whole thing is kind of distressing. I knew something was wrong as soon as I stepped into that office.
I'm glad you've finally come around. It's not just
But what about Remington? He was a member of this order?
He made Boggy his own personal project, his own obsession. For years he hunted the creature, the potential perfect addition to his collection.
But he owned the tourist attraction. He set it up himself, didn't he?
He did. It was just his way of forming a legal loophole. Since the area became protected, he and his friends were unable to come here for hunting anymore. Boggy's Bog was just a front for his own little game. A man pursuing a creature.
A creature that might not even exist.
And that's why Remington kept a rifle nearby at all times?
Well, exactly. He didn't want to take any chances.
Now, don't you see? I did this place a service. Did Boggy a service. That creature, he can live in peace again.
Can he? You tried to frame him for murder. You wanted everyone to think he was some kind of ruthless predator?
Well, think about it. Once he became suspected of murder, they'd have no choice but to shut this whole place down. Everyone would finally realize they had no business here.
You didn't have the right. How do you know what Boggy wanted?
But he's not a killer. You're the one who...
Detective,
It's
finished. Well, don't be angry. You should be glad. It's finally time to leave the swamp. You have another job to do.
I don't know.
Not that it makes any difference to somebody like you, but I never intended to kill him. Just to scare him. Convince him Boggy wasn't going to let him live here in peace any longer. But, true to form, he had his rifle on him. You worked out the rest yourself.
It makes a difference.
Well, Mr. Everstone, I'm afraid you'll still have to come with us. Fortunately, there's a police station just a few miles down.
Hey, wait! Aha!
Looks like you solved more than one mystery tonight.
That's pretty fucking awesome. Oh yeah! I solved the mystery of the swamp.
Grimoire.
Well, what did they decide to do?
We had Mr. Everstone questioned. He was happy to tell us everything he knew. A number of rumors going around the department have been confirmed.
And Remington's office?
Searched down to the last detail. And well, we agree with you. But I know what you're thinking. I'd love to put an end to it, just the same as you. But there's always...
Are we going after them?
We'd better be.